Right, so now we are quickly shifting from the Manchester derby to the battle for the top four. And like Palash says, United should probably be out of it now, but the reality is United and Leicester are pretty much just there's this 1 point gap. But then there is a comfort that Leicester has from the fourth spot of 6 points. Manchester United second with 54 points, Leicester third with 53 points, Chelsea fourth with 47. How do we feel about Leicester? The same thing happened to them last year. They had a sensational beginning to the season. Rodgers has been doing a wonderful job, and they eventually found themselves drifting out of it at the very end of it. And a lot of people kind of never felt that Leicester would be there at the end of the season, and they weren't. This season, again, they have been on pretty much the same trajectory. Last week, they crashed out of the Europa League, immediately lost to Arsenal in a pretty one-sided affair. And yesterday, though, they were able to win finally, and they got that 2-1 win on the board, especially after trailing 1-0 for a long time. Have Leicester learned from last season? Is there a case for them being really strong, plus with the 6 point gap they have from the fourth position? Does that make Leicester probably stay in the Champions League?
See, I think they can, again, based on the abilities that their players have. I think they have the skill and the temperament to do it, because we've seen some sort of consistency from them also. But I think a lot of things depend on Vardy and James Maddison playing. If they don't play, Leicester struggle.
Right.
If they play, if they can be injury free and play every game till the end of the season, I think they'll make top four.
Okay. How do we feel about Chelsea? A lot of people said that Chelsea and Tuchel got lucky in terms of the first 5 games that they had. They did not have anyone from the top 6, etc., etc. And he's producing this certain style of football, which is, I think we can both agree, it's defensive to begin with, and yet staying in control of the ball, maintaining possession, but not really hurting the other team, and eventually finding a way of controlling and managing the game, and finally finding a way to score 1 goal, which is something that they've done on many occasions now, winning by a 1-0 margin, not conceding too much. Is that the first line of importance that we've seen in Tuchel's philosophy?
I think yes, I think that's pretty obvious from the way they're playing. They don't want to lose the ball, because I think Tuchel realizes that their defense is not the best right now, right? And we saw how Lampard wanted to play in an explosive way. They wanted to dominate the ball also, but they wanted to be high pressing also, because of which Lampard struggled. Because on counters, Chelsea just was receiving goals left, right and centre.
Right.
So I think Tuchel has realized that. So he's playing in such a way, because I've seen PSG play in the past under him. They don't play in that way that like Chelsea's playing right now, right? So that's what I think. I think we'll see the real Tuchel football next season. Right now it's just damage control, I think. But at the same time they're playing well, and they're right in it for the top 4.
Right, because after the initial fixtures, they kind of showed resistance against Manchester United. They had a decent game. It was a 0-0 draw. There was a lack of chances on both ends, but then I think that day nobody really wanted to lose last week. Neither Ole
United versus Chelsea was a snooze fest. Both managers didn't want to lose. That was pretty clear.
Right. And then, since then, obviously United have taken this huge result against Manchester City. Chelsea had a game against Liverpool, which they won 1-0, and it breaks my heart, but they were in cruise control. They were in cruise control of that game. It could easily have been 3-0, 4-0 to Chelsea. And again, with that probably slightly slowish style that we're kind of just about getting used to Tuchel's, they just did not allow Liverpool the ball. And that doesn't really happen often. I mean, it's not something any team is able to do on a regular basis. And he kind of smashed Liverpool. Chelsea just smashed Liverpool out of the park. And
so coming on to Liverpool then.
We'll just stay with Chelsea for another couple of minutes before we get to Liverpool. We are far away from getting to Liverpool anyway.
I want to get there soon.
Yeah, we'll get to Liverpool in a while. How are we looking at Chelsea? And a word for Mason Mount before we move ahead. A regular under Frank Lampard, and Lampard was really, one of the first names to go on the team sheet. And we saw him staying out for a couple of matches when Tuchel came in, and now he's become a regular player for him too, and he is really important. Scored that wonderful goal against Liverpool.
Brilliant goal. Yeah.
Is he doing? Are we looking at Mason Mount being a regular, and especially with the Euros coming in the summer? Is he an England player?
I think he'll be in the squad. I think because the way Gareth Southgate is setting up his team, we can see he wants more youth in the team now, right? Because he wants England to play a certain way that they haven't played before. We've seen all great English players, the great English team, all the right names on the paper, but they didn't have an identity to play football.
Right.
So I think Gareth Southgate, to develop that way of playing, he needs young players who can learn quickly, adapt to him, and play in that way.
Fair enough. So he has been having an exceptional season irrespective of the managers. Before we leave Chelsea, because it's the first time we're talking about this particular conversation, this club, we all feel sad for Lampard, won't we?
I think it's because he was a legend of the club that played against him also.
Is it an opportunity that came to him too quickly in his managerial career?
I think yes. I think he had the tactical nous of it, but I think he lacked a little bit in the man management side. You could see he had a very similar strategy like Jose Mourinho. I think he learned not the best parts of Jose Mourinho from under him, because he's calling out his name in the press conferences and putting them down individually, which not a lot of managers do. We've seen Jose Mourinho do it, now we're seeing Lampard do it.
Right. Moving on then, are Chelsea going to finish in the top 4?
That's a tough one.
How does it feel?
I think they'll just miss out. Chelsea.
Because they already have City and United inside.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
Leicester also up there.
They're
just a point behind United. So
and
I think Everton and West Ham are also
Everton is the next team.
And they have 2 matches in hand.
Yeah.
If they win all their matches, they're up right there in 4th.
Everton win both their matches, they're already 4th. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And with some margin too.
Yeah.
Are we serious? Is the blue side from Merseyside actually going to qualify for the Champions League? What is happening in Everton? Why are they not going away from the top 4 picture? Why do they still exist in this discussion?
Whatever is happening, I'm quite enjoying it. Because I can see you all ruffled up because of it.
I hate Everton. Of course I do.
Everton would be finishing above Liverpool in the league table.
Yeah, right.
After how many years? You should know.
I don't know. I don't think Liverpool reserves have always been better than Everton. Yeah, it happened a few years ago once when Rodgers was in charge. But still, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But yes, Everton, I think we all agree that
I think people are undermining the fact that Ancelotti is the manager.
Right, that's what I was about to say.
He is a very
shrewd
high pedigree manager.
Everton don't deserve him. Right, and all of us were a little scared when Ancelotti decided to come to Everton because we know his pedigree. And is that something which is now coming to the fore? He's obviously brought out the best in
I think give him another transfer window. He brings in 1 or 2 more good players. I think Everton are going to be up there next season also.
What is going right though? Is it just the Italian manager's insane grasp of the defensive side of football, where he's winning matches by focusing on the defense, or is it?
I think the important thing over here in his team is everybody is on the same page. I can see people working for each other in Everton. They're working really hard. They're pressing the ball, and at the same time, they also have the sensibility of defending well.
Right.
I think, of course, Ancelotti has that understanding of the defensive side of the game also, because he's Italian, managed Italian teams all the time. So I think
before Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, his AC Milan was the greatest team of all time,
yeah.
and he has done great things. And obviously now he's also beaten Liverpool at Anfield.
So I think
which is something that
because of Ancelotti, I think Everton have that edge.
Is it? So it is Ancelotti, and he is probably driving that club in towards the top 4 because nothing else will do for him. He has been a serial winner all his life. And we did feel last year that Everton have gotten lucky. They've gotten a manager way out of their league. And now he's just helping them climb up. Is there a case for Everton in the top 4 come the end of the season?
I think they have a case.
They do?
They do.
So they're still fighting for that 4th spot.
Yeah.
All right.
I think a lot of things depend the 2 games that they haven't. But,
All right then, that brings us to the north side of London, and now we focus on Tottenham. And
when are we getting to Liverpool?
We'll get to Liverpool in a while. We're going by the standings.
I think we should start from Liverpool now. Then
Liverpool are 8th in the table. We'll talk about them 8th. That's what we're doing. So because we are going from the top to the bottom, they are at the bottom of the top 8. Yeah. Anyway, so what about the Northern teams? Tottenham had a smashing win yesterday. They both Harry Kane and Christian Bale. I mean, sorry, not Christian Bale. Gareth Bale seems like. I'm sorry, Christian. Gareth Bale seems like he's finally finding a way to play football.
I think yes. I think he's also improved upon his fitness. But I think Tottenham are a team. If they click, they click. We know how Mourinho plays. I know very well how Mourinho plays. If the players are motivated, I think they play well. The day they're not, they're like just parking buses all around the pitch.
Is it okay? Let me ask you the obvious question first. Is Jose's Tottenham with Bale and everybody and Kane on song and fire with each other, etc., etc.? Are they better than Mauricio Pochettino's Tottenham last season? Or
I would say no.
no?
No. I think Mauricio Pochettino had a bad phase in Tottenham, but we shouldn't forget what he had achieved at Tottenham.
Yeah.
Never in their lifetime they have been in a Champions League final
Oh, yes.
and so close to winning it.
Yeah.
I think that was something that should have gone in his favor
Yeah.
and should have been given more time. I mean, they had a rut of form. I know they were 8 or 9 at that time when he got sacked. So I think, yeah, that was a bad phase, but you need sometimes that time to go through that phase also to become a big team.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But then football managers, tough jobs. They get the sack like anything. With Tottenham, see, obviously the expectation to sack Pochettino, I mean this urge to sack Pochettino and bring in Jose. What does Jose bring? Pochettino took them to the Champions League final. He finished 3rd with them. So the idea was we now want someone to come in who can take this team to the next level and win things. Is Jose that guy? Tottenham are 6th. They're 2 points behind Chelsea in 4th for now. How do we feel about Tottenham? Are they moving forward or are they going back?
I think they're still trying to find themselves. I don't think they have moved forward, but I think they've had decent enough results to show that they're still at the same place where they were last season. Right? There's no progress as such, but I think Mourinho needs more time to do that. I think he knows, he's done it in the past, so he certainly knows what it takes to do it. But at the same time, football has also changed, and nowadays players want to play good football. That's how they're motivated. Right? If they play the boring type of football, so to say.
Which has happened though.
Yeah, yeah.
Under Pochettino, they played this very attack-oriented, beautiful sort of.
That's what happened to Van Gaal at United.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the main complaint that everyone had.
And a lot of Tottenham fans, especially when Tottenham loses, they do not enjoy it. Not especially from
And
the
even when
perspective
they're
of just
playing,
losing.
it's not like they're.
Yeah, it's not like they're playing any. I mean, they're playing a certain brand of football, the Jose brand of football, of course,
Yeah.
which is really boring and pathetic. It is result-oriented.
Correct.
But is it happening though?
So,
are they getting the
as
results?
it goes, so if he gets all the results he wants, then everything is justified.
But he's not
Right?
getting.
But
the
he's not
results.
getting them right now.
So, is there a backup? Because there are a lot of articles you read, there are a lot of people, fans shouting out that Jose's methods do not work anymore, and people like Pep Guardiola, people like Klopp, for example, I'm so sorry, have taken football into a different direction where people, even Brighton are playing a certain way, and pretty much every team, including Burnley for that matter, is playing from the back. So the game has changed, obviously. Is Mourinho outdated? Is he going to achieve success with his own methods? Is there a case for it, or do we think he has to change himself now?
I think yes, in a way he is very adamant, and he's been giving out statements in his press conferences. I saw a couple of those where he says, "I totally believe in my system and it will work." It hasn't worked till now,
Yeah.
but he's very adamant that it will.
It
work.
hasn't worked here for a couple of years.
Uh.
It hasn't worked at United before. He has not won a title.
Right,
As
but
much as-
he had one good season where he came second. He obviously said that it was the best season of his managerial career.
Right.
So
And we all understood it in retrospect that Jose was right.
Yeah, of course.
Bringing United second that season was insane. Anyway, yeah, let's take two. Alright, so do Tottenham have a shout for top four? They are still just 2 points away.
I think it's a
Just doesn't fit right.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like.
this season not. Probably next season I can see them if they do good business. Mourinho can implement a certain style of play. If Bale can work out and Harry Kane of course is a good striker, Son, all three of them can also take care of the attack.
Right.
If they start showing that consistently and Mourinho gives them that freedom. A lot of times I feel Kane and Son do not have. I can see Son playing at left back, when the opposition has the ball.
Yeah.
So
that's not ideal when you're
and
attacking.
We can see that he doesn't have that freedom to just simply run forward on instinct. I'm sure they have situations where they've talked about Mourinho knows, okay, in this situation you attack, in this situation you hold back.
Right.
So we can see that. So that's why he's not playing freely. So that has to change if they want to score more goals.
How do we feel about Arsenal's chances before we move to West Ham? I mean, because we thought we'll talk about North London together.
Now we're getting into Arsenal. I just want to mention the Xhaka goal.
Right, what was he up to? I mean,
and that was a Xhaka goal.
आमिर से बात हुई उस मैच के बाद आमिर से बात हुई हुई एक बार भी
I mentioned it to him. उसने सीधा फोन काट लिया.
हाँ, मतलब as usual plan मतलब draw हुआ obviously, but as usual Amir was like इतने chances बनाए, they should have won, they should have. I didn't see the game, and then when I actually saw the highlights, yes, he was right. Arsenal did create a lot of chances. They should have probably won that match, but then they could have lost it too. Burnley had their chances of their own in the second half, and oh my god, what was Xhaka doing? I mean, sure,
shambolic.
Sure, Arteta is telling them to play from the back, and sure, it's been working.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
Did he not see him? Did he not see Wood there? It was Wood, wasn't it? Chris Wood?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's Xhaka's goal. It's not Chris Wood's goal. It's Xhaka's goal. I mean, he's just standing there. Chris Wood is not even attempting to close down Xhaka. Right. He's just standing. He's actually anticipating a mistake from him, and he's right.
Yeah, we all just love Xhaka so much, and
I wouldn't question the principle behind that pass because that's how Arteta wants to play, right?
Of course, we're just making fun of it.
Yeah.
Those mistakes tend to happen.
But I will criticize Xhaka for this because that was horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as if he was under insane pressure or anything like that. He was just...
And he's done a few of them in his Arsenal career. Yeah. We've seen a lot of missed back passes and...
That's why we love Xhaka. we do love players like that.
But Arsenal has no chance at top 4.
Yeah, I didn't think I would ask you that question either. Arsenal do not have a chance at top 4. Yeah.
And I know a lot of Arsenal fans, they believe there is.
Right. He's talking about Amir. We'll get to that in due course of time. So Amir is our Arsenal guy. You love him. We do too. So another, I think 2 minutes for West Ham. David Moyes has done, for a lack of a better adjective, he's done a particular kind of job, and he's on a particular kind of job. What is happening in West Ham?
I think he's in a very similar situation to how he was in Everton. He now has, I think he's building a team like similar to that. I can see them playing in a similar way, working really hard for each other. Right. And they have that decent quality also in their team.
They have a lot of quality these days in their team, West Ham.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the playing 11. I see a lot of their talented players not starting games, but they are used as impact players. He brings them on as substitutes. But yeah, still, the playing 11 also has decent quality.
Right, and we're all glad for West Ham actually. It's a team that pretty much everyone loves outside of... I mean, if you don't hate them, you tend to like them even as neutral fans most of the time. And it's been... I mean, they've been struggling for such a long time. It's like they had this relegation...
West Ham, since the past 4 weeks or so, have been the best team in London.
Right. Right.
Considering the form.
Yeah, Chelsea
the
and
points they've taken in the last 4 to 6 games, best in London. And they just have 2 games in hand. If they win both of them, they're top 4. That means, again, they're leading all the London teams in the table.
Right. So West Ham are having a phenomenal season. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Do we consider them for the top 4-5? They're also in it. If Tottenham is in it, they have a game.
Yeah, Everton are in it. I think West Ham are also in it.
So we're looking at that. I mean, we can agree.
This is a freak season. Anything can happen. Yeah. I am totally open to all the scenarios for top 4.
But City, United, Leicester are definitely going through.
I think yes.
Yeah, and then the 4th spot is up for grabs. Till West Ham, or should we include Liverpool in this conversation now? Finally,
you tell me. Tell me your honest opinion as a Liverpool fan. I know there will be a lot of optimism there. But what do you think?
There is a lot of optimism, of course, and it's just unbelievable what has happened. As a fan, you remember celebrating your first title in 30 years, not many months ago, and now it's like the wheels have completely come off. Yeah. Even yesterday when the Fulham game started, I just had this in my heart that a home game, with how Fulham are playing, especially how they have been playing over the last few weeks.
Fulham is in good form.
Yeah, the best thing I did really hope for was, of course I want them to win, but my mind just told me that it's going to be a tough game, and eventually that's what happened. Liverpool making all those changes for the Champions League game against Leipzig in midweek, or for any other reason. Klopp has said certain things in the media over the last.
Are we getting into Liverpool now?
Yeah, we are. We already have gotten into Liverpool.
Alright.
And
okay, so let's start with this.
Yeah.
Honest opinion, yes or no, Liverpool making the top four?
No, they're not making it.